Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
This is something that I struggle with. I know it's so important. It can really change your life. And I wonder if others have the same challenges. I'm talking about meditation. We've heard that word for pretty much all of our lives. We know that it's got to be doing something good for us because many talk about it. But sometimes we try to meditate or get into that state. Some are successful, some are not really sure if they are. Let's talk to a pro about this. She is somebody that helps people all the time through therapy, lots of different modalities. She's the founder and CEO of Healing Hearts, Healing Minds. And that's what we're trying to do today. Heal your mind with that meditation. Beatriz Cymberknopf is back with us. Beatriz, welcome. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me, Steve.
Wonderful to have you back here. Can't wait to dig in to this topic today. Before we even do that, let's just let everybody know the mission and the vision of the organization.
Of course, of course. As we have said in many previous occasions, our mission and vision, but our mission is to truly educate, help educate, and empower individuals with self-care strategies, tools, techniques that are evidence-based, that are proven to work, to benefit greatly the individual, to improve their health, and to overcome trauma. And as such, we employ a wide array of various different healing modalities of therapeutic interventions that, again, have demonstrated good or more than good outcomes for individuals, for people, that have been actually scientifically demonstrated, science-based.
Sure.
One of those techniques that are, very, very dear and close to my heart is meditation. And in fact, we utilize and we teach individuals in the art of mindfulness, meditating, and within our practice, of course, and within the stated individual custom-based health recommendations that we tailor make to each individual. Meditation is a critical component of the overall recommendations that we have for the individual, and we teach them how to approach the subject, where to begin, how to meditate, why to meditate, and we teach them along the path how to track their own progress so that they see how far indeed they go along the path, how far they can come. Even those with no previous experience whatsoever with meditation. So that's what we do.
Love it. And meditation, it's almost like a word when you hear it, you've heard it so many times. So sometimes it doesn't really resonate as much as it should or connect. What are some of the things that it can help you with or help you overcome?
It's a really, really broad topic. I mean, meditation and mindfulness has been utilized from time immemorial, really, from thousands and thousands of years, and only through the last half century, we have systematically and thankfully, we have modern, so to speak, modern spiritual gurus or teachers that have made this word and this art more well known, so that it does resonate and it does pique the interest of the public at large. So thankfully, so there are many different experts, and people can Google who they are and what have you. But I'm sure everybody has heard of Deepak Chopra and John Kabat-Zinn and Joe Dispenza and many Pema Chodron, and coming from every perspective and school of thought, the individual can follow it. Now, with regards to the benefits are truly countless. There are infinite to count. They range from all manner of health and well-being, in terms of demonstrating the mind-body connection, and how meditation does quiet one of the primary, but there are so many primary benefits, is that people use it, of course, to quiet the mind, to calm and quiet the mind. You can use it, and with that, you can relieve many of the health conditions that the individual may be experiencing. So it allows for your creative powers to come forward. By meditating, you can lower the stress hormone, and we've discussed on previous podcasts the damaging effects that having constant and ongoing and relentless stress and the impact that has on your health, how it deteriorates it slowly but surely. This meditation can reverse that process by quieting the mind and allowing the individual to come back and shift from a sympathetic nervous system to a parasympathetic nervous system, where you can lower the stress hormone, the cortisol, and you can are able then to cope with any stress that comes your way or challenge that comes your way, and every day you can cope with it in a much more in a better way. You can make much better decisions. You can get to know yourself much better. So let me cite, because this topic is so broad, but just to give you very specific examples, physiologically speaking, that are based on science, that so you can get the idea in terms of, physically speaking, how meditation can help in improve the health. So for example, in patients who have chronic pain due to a variety of situations, they can, by meditating, they have reduced their physician visits, their pain medications, by 36%. This is according to the Clinical Journal of Pain. People, 80% of people who suffer from high blood pressure were able to lower, this is many studies have been done on the subject, have lowered their blood pressure and decreased medications, about 16% of those. 60% of those are able to discontinue medications altogether, high blood pressure medications altogether, by consistently engaging in this great spiritual practice. We'll come back to a definition of it, because I think this is important for people to have in their minds. People who have had open surgery have had far fewer complications as a result of engaging in meditation or mindfulness practices. This is according to the Journal of Behavioral Medicine. People who suffer from insomnia, either by not being able to fall asleep fast enough, waking up in the middle of the night, not being able to fall back asleep, all sorts of scenarios within that have reported improving their sleep, and 91%, according to the studies have been done, either eliminated or reduced their sleeping medications as a result of the practice, and this is according to the American Journal of Medicine. High school students report doing much better on exams and report increased self-esteem, which is very important now for our college students and teenagers and college students and the young population. They suffer really from a lot of low self-esteem. Meditation allows them to be calmer, to have a greater sense of self, and not be so conflicted in terms of who they are, etc., etc. Meditation improves all sorts of our relationships. Meditation is the is critical when it comes for a person to be able to be in touch with their soul, to be able to hear the whispers of their own soul, and to increase their intuition, which we're all innately intuitive, but this is a skill that needs to be nurtured like every other skill. So as you engage more, as you practice, as you repeat the practice, you get to know yourself much better, increase your intuition, and then life becomes a little bit more manageable, easier. You get to know yourself, you know others, you're less stressed, you're less angry. The list really truly goes on and on and on and on. But that's just a few of the examples.
At this point, could we dig into what is meditation? How do we meditate? Is meditating as simple as walking outside, kind of clearing your mind, maybe thinking about one thing, maybe walking the dog? Could that be meditation?
Definitely, yes, of course, absolutely. So meditation will be described or defined differently according to the spiritual tradition or school of thought that their teacher has or a student learns from. But generally speaking, you can say that meditation is one very potent spiritual practice that allows us to nurture self-awareness, to cultivate self-awareness in a very non-judgmental way, Why do I say that? Because on a day-to-day basis, when we are not being contemplative or self-reflective, our minds, our conscious minds, our egoic minds are constantly it's constantly judging, measuring, judging ourselves, judging others, and this distorts quite a bit the reality that we find ourselves in. So by meditating, you go within to the truly vast arena of who we are. It expands your awareness so you can see farther and beyond your five physical senses that can be and are so very limiting for ourselves. So we could then, by meditating, you truly can tap into creative solutions that you wouldn't otherwise think of if you have no idea or don't have such a practice in your life.
When do you meditate?
Well, one should ideally meditate every day. Every day should be someone should and can set up a time. You don't have to do it for an hour. You can begin. Beginners can begin even 5-10 minutes, 15 minutes. You can begin very modestly and then slowly increase the time as you yourself as you allow yourself to do so. But the critical thing, the important thing, is to become very consistent in the practice. So to do it every day, to choose a time, whether it's in the morning as part of your morning ritual or as part of your before retiring at night. It is important, it is very beneficial to set a specific time where you can be quiet, nobody's going to disturb you, interrupt you, when others who you live in the household can respect and honor your time, and you yourself give it the respect by honoring that practice within yourself and doing it just like as if you would do any other task that we do or that we engage in our daily life.
What's the easiest for you, Beatriz? In terms of what time of the day, example, I've tried it all different ways. I've found a little bit more productive in meditating, and I don't feel like I've aced it yet, But when I wake up first thing in the morning, I'll just lie in bed for a couple of minutes and I'll just close my eyes and I'll think about one thing, or I'll just clear my mind and see what comes into my mind. Um, and it's been beneficial. There's a couple of times where I fell back to sleep, but in my understanding, that's not a bad thing if you fall asleep
No,
during
no, not at all, not at all. At the very beginning of the day, before you wake up, it's a wonderful time, specifically if it's very early, like if you wake up between 3 a.m. or and 5 p.m., the world is very quiet. You really can tap into many things in the universe. But setting it up at a time where you can meditate for a brief amount of time, setting your intention for the day, clearing your mind, asking for help, and so on and so forth, sets a good tone for the rest of the day. And I have found for my own self that when the exception for me, of course, is when I don't do it, because I've already developed the discipline to do it on a daily basis. And for different purposes in different times of the day. But to set the tone for the rest of the day, it's a great idea to do it first thing in the morning. That is very beneficial, because you can also within that meditation begin to visualize and set your intention for the things that you want to achieve, accomplish, and so it is extremely beneficial. But I also have developed the discipline to do it prior to going to sleep, as a means of even falling asleep easier with grace, and that process should become easier. I set my intentions. Personally, I love to set intentions for remembering my dreams with great that it should be very vivid, that I should be able to recall it, that I should be able to understand and interpret it correctly for myself and take action accordingly. So there are many intentions, intention of healing, for example. So you can set various intentions in your meditation for different purposes, because it's really truly unlimited, the uses of meditation. So you can do it at various times of the day. And when you find yourself that at a specific point in the day, you find yourself uneasy, unbalanced, not centered, then you can use it again for 5 minutes to bring you back to center. So we use a variety of techniques to teach people how to meditate, using breath work, using the right language, using decrees. There are many different components in the meditation, but we teach it in a very, very user-friendly way, for them to get into a state of consciousness that where they can find themselves below the analytical mind, below, as I said, where the analytical mind, the constant chatter of your mind is not interfering with your meditation, because that's kind of the point, to quiet, to be still, to listen to your soul. So you want to quiet the mind enough to, seclude yourself from the stimuli of our external world.
So let me ask this question, and this opened my eyes to meditation. I don't know if this is right. I guess there is no right, as long as you feel that you're achieving something. But somebody said to me not too long ago that you should have a goal when you meditate. So let's say the goal is, I have a challenge at work and I want to find the best solution for it. Let me meditate on it. I never thought of it that way. I just clear my mind and see whatever comes in my mind. And maybe there's things going around during that day, and maybe, this comes in and that comes out. But having a goal when you meditate, what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts differ from others. So it depends who you have found to be your teacher, or there are many schools of thoughts where they say the goal of meditation is not to have any goal. It's not to think of anything. It's to truly quiet your mind and remain in a state of nothingness, and tap into the void, so to speak, of the field of energy. I hold a slightly different view and perspective, because I do apply personal. I do meditate in many occasions with a purpose in mind, with a purpose in mind. So I do that. And so sometimes I do it without a purpose. Sometimes I do it depending upon what I need, what my mind, what my soul is speaking to me that I need at that particular time. But having a purpose is purposeful, so to speak, very purposeful, because you are able to, and you can focus on that. You can enter into a different state of awareness, where you can much easier find a solution for a challenge or a problem that you have. No question about it. And in the training that I personally received, they would teach you to go through many states of consciousness to achieve different realms, or to reach different realms or of consciousness. So yes, there are certain states of consciousness, deeper and deeper, that allow you to achieve different things, so to speak. So that's for the more advanced student, but you can begin simply by lowering the stress and quieting the mind, and overcoming one's own resistances or barriers to meditation. So, for example, one of the first exercises that I recommend, or that I give to students who are just literally beginners, is for a week I will have them, after I teach them how to meditate, to go into meditation after they know how, and ask themselves a question: why do they want to meditate, or what do they want to? Why do they want to learn to meditate? Okay, and to ask the same question every single time, every time they do it in a different day. And what they have found is that the answer progressively gets deeper and differs from the first time that they did it to the end of the day. So the answer progressively, if they do it, they find that the answer gets deeper and deeper. And so the more they do it, they will find the true reason, not just the superficial reason that comes initially to their mind as to why they want to meditate, but the true reason. So the more they do it, they find more and more they get to know the essence of themselves. They get to know the true reason why it would be immensely beneficial for them to continue on this practice. So that's an eye-opener. It really finds an eye-opener. But they also find that when they come back to class, many of the students will have learned what they resist, or they'll say, I really intended to meditate, but I am not, I wasn't able to do it. Well, why didn't you do it? Why weren't you able to do it? I had too many distractions, so my husband didn't allow me. I had to help the kids, so I had too many responsibilities. Whatever the excuse, because it's what it is, whatever the excuse, people found different excuses for why they were not able to meditate, not even for 5 minutes.
Right.
You understand? So
you know what's
so
interesting?
Yeah.
And I don't want to run out of time. Like maybe 30 seconds left here. I met a guy who studied with monks who meditate a lot. And so I would say he's a real good professional meditator. I said, sir, how long does it take you to get into a meditative? He's like, 5 seconds. I'm like, it takes you 5 seconds? He goes, yeah, sometimes 3, because he's practiced it. He's found it. He's found himself by being able to meditate.
It is a skill, and it is a practice. You have to practice just like any other skill that you wish to master.
I wish there was an easy way to get around this, but there's not.
It's not hard. It's just a mindset that the person has to have. And so meditation, I know we're running out of time. Meditation is to the soul what breathing is to the physical body.
Wow.
And meditation is natural, it's instinctive. It's natural for the mind to enter into a state of meditation. It's not natural for us to go on and on and on and on, doing from one task to another without coming back to center. That's not natural. And we see it in the diseases and the ailments and the distress that we see everybody.
And we'll never know the answer to this question, but I'll bet you animals meditate. When they're just, your dog or cat is just sitting there staring into space or closing their eyes, they're probably meditating. Why? Because they don't have to pay the mortgage. They don't have card payments and all that stuff around them. Beatriz, how do we connect with you? What's the best way to find your website?
People can visit me at www.healingheartshealingminds.org, or they can call directly at 561-599-1201, and they request even a consultation to answer any questions they might have.
It's so important to learn how to meditate. I know you can help people with that, the training, the coaching, the insight. You said something that resonated so well with me in comparing breathing, that is something that you have to do, but meditation is also something you need to do if you want to connect with your mind. And I never thought of it that way. So thank you so much for being here today.
So thank you for having me. Have a great day.
You too. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.